at the headlines right now. The eternal flame of the grave for President Kennedy has now been restored, temporarily relocated, so repairs could be made. President Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas 50 years ago next month.
Senate Democrats proposing a bill to let the president authorize additional federal spending without raising the debt ceiling, unless Congress can muster a veto-proof majority to block him. The goal, of course, to avoid future fights over the debt ceiling. That bill is not expected to pass the House.
Designer Rebecca Minkoff facing more than 70 grand in fines. Labor Department says she violated workplace safety regulations. They found her New York headquarters overcrowded with materials that block the emergency exits. What's the material?
I don't know, but I'm happy to take some of her designer handbags off of her hands if she needs more room.
Or some shoes.
Sure, fine.
Or some handbags.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a lot of that. So
too much.
You might get your pick.
Are you not familiar with the health care law?
I'm very familiar with.
And you're not. The president apparently is aware of some provisions that were snuck into the law that says that you know what, you're not going to be able to keep your health care plan. You're not going to be able to keep your doctor, but yet you just said you can. So you must not be aware of you didn't read the law as Nancy Pelosi said you should when the thing was passed.
Medicare Administrator Marilyn Tavenner grilled today about a report that the president knew that millions of Americans would lose their health care plans under Obamacare.
We've been hearing the exact opposite for years now, 4 years in fact. Jonathan Colegio is a Republican strategist directing communications for American Crossroads Super PAC. I'm Richard Fowler, a radio host of the Richard Fowler Show. Gentlemen, good day to both of you. The first question from Camerata.
Very nice. Thank you, Bill. Let me go to Richard. So we now know that the IRS put out a report in 2010 that said that between 40 and 67% of people with individual plans would probably have to lose those plans. The president knew that, Richard. Why did he insist if you like your plan, you keep your plan?
Well, I think what we've seen from this White House and the Human and Health Services Secretary is that they've been very clear and open about that. Catherine Sebelius said this back in the summer, that there is a possibility that you will lose a plan, and those individuals that are getting those letters indicating that their plan has been changed or their plan has been canceled, at the bottom of that letter, it indicates to them that they should call their health insurer and enroll in a similar
Richard,
plan.
hold on a second, because that's not what the president said. Here is a clip from the president in 2012, 2 years after that IRS report came out. Let's listen to the president.
First, if you're one of the more than 250 million Americans who already have health insurance, you will keep your health insurance. This law will only make it more secure and more affordable. You will keep your
insurance. That sounds like you will keep exactly what you have, and it will make it more affordable. Some people's premiums are going up. Defend that, Richard.
Well, I think the president is right to say that a lot of folks will end up keeping their doctors. They'll keep the same health insurance company, but health insurance companies canceling plans is nothing new. They've done it years previously, and I think on top of that, hold on a second. Hold on a second now, Bill.
This is all semantics. Come on, you know the reports. I mean, we tabulated 2 million already. We gave you a chance. Go ahead, Jonathan. We'll come back to Richard a second here.
The president in 2009 in front of the American Bar Association said if you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan, period. He did not say in parentheses that 7 to 10 million people in these individual plans would be dropped from their health care plan. We just today in California, the head insurance person there said that 900,000 people are going to lose their coverage by December 31st because of this law. And to add insult to injury, many of them are not going to be able to get health insurance through the Obamacare exchanges because the websites don't work. Even worse than that, they could end up facing fines in March because of the individual mandate. This is a disaster, and we really need to hit the reset button, hit the pause button at least, and delay this law for a couple of years.
Richard, go ahead. Does this speak to the president's credibility that he didn't adjust his language after the IRS came out with that report?
Well, I think the president's been very credible when it comes to health care. There's no question that the website was messed up. There's no question there were coding errors. But what we've seen is that people can call in. One of my listeners tweeted me today indicating that they called in, talked for 15 minutes, and got the health care they deserve. Not to mention the fact that we're seeing the benefits of the law.
Richard, come on, man. Be honest here.
Well, I am being honest, Bill.
Hang on one moment. Other people have called this number. They can't get through to anything because they refer them back to the website. This thing's a mess.
There's no question. There's no question that the website has issues and the website needs to be fixed.
So how can you say the president still has credibility on this when there are so many countless problems. And for this woman to come in today and to say, I'll get back to you in mid-November, I mean, how do you think that made folks feel when they were watching that?
But
I mean, is like anybody in charge?
There's no question that the website was messed up, and I think most people will admit that. The president has admitted that. But what we can say is that people are beginning to see the benefits of the law. The Pew Foundation indicated that 1.1 million individuals who have HIV/AIDS can now get health care coverage. 3 million young people back on their parents' health care insurance. Young people in colleges all across this country are finally getting an opportunity and a chance to get health care.
But Jonathan, I want to ask you a question, because one of the things what the administration is falling back on is they're saying, yeah, you know what? You actually are going to lose your coverage, but guess what? Good news. With the Affordable Care Act, you're going to get better coverage than what you have. It's going to cover more things, and that's great. And the president could have been trumpeting that, but that's not what he said. So it sounds as though he didn't know exactly the details, or he was fudging them.
Well, no, it's clear that he knew that even if he were going to make that point, those plans cost more money. David Frum had a piece out today where he said that he's being dropped from his plan and he's being offered another plan that's $200 a month more. That's $2,500 a month more. Look, there were 3 foundational promises that the president campaigned on, one of which was that if you liked your health insurance, you'd be able to keep it. That's false. The second one was that it would drive costs down, and we know that that one's wrong, too. And on top of all of that, we're not even getting to universal coverage, according to CBO. The law has been a disaster by any measure, and it's time to delay it.
Quickly, Jonathan Starr, what will Sebelius say tomorrow?
Oh, goodness. I mean, I don't even know how she defends this thing.
Stop right there. That's enough. Richard, what did she say?
I think Sebelius would own up to the fact there was issues with the website, but she will tell you and tell the American people why in November we'll get this law back on track and millions of people will finally get the health care that they desperately need for you.
Okay, we'll see if that's the case. Thank you, gentlemen.
Jonathan, Richard, thanks so much.